Hi, everyone. I always get so nervous right before I start these things, and I'm press go live, and I'm like convinced it's not working. So just say hey in the chat if you can see me and hear me, and I'll know it's working for everybody. Awesome, Meta Drew. Thank you. Um, Thanks for being here, guys. I know this was super last minute putting this together, but I obviously realized that I hadn't put together really any content on the YouTube channel in regard to my Chicago Marathon training. Maybe people were wondering if I was ever actually even doing it. Way back when I said I was running it, but yeah, unless you follow me on Instagram, I haven't really talked about it here. So yeah, definitely follow me on Instagram if you don't. And I put a little bit more of that kind of stuff there and just like day-to-day running. Obviously, here I spend a lot more time trying to create content for all of you and helping, especially in the marathon distance, half marathon distance, just preparing you for those races coming up. So more content geared towards you. But I know that talking about my own training, each of you can glean some good information from that too. Some people just want to know. So I thought it would be fun to jump on here and talk through that, especially with the race being, this weekend and not feeling like I have a lot of time to put up a whole video that's edited and everything. I thought this would be a good way to keep it a little less formal and talk about things. So, yes. So I have a good question right there about doing Chicago. So that's basically what I'm going to talk about in this video is just kind of the Chicago weekend ahead, what that's going to look like for me. I do have a shakeout run, Oliver, so I'll talk about that. I'll discuss my Chicago training, how that's looked, and my race strategy and my goals. So I'm going to share that as well towards the end. I don't know how many kind of questions I'll be answering throughout. We'll just kind of see how things go, but I definitely want to leave some time for questions at the end if you have any about my training or anything in my training that might help you, anything like that. So the first thing that I want to say is thank you to everyone who has watched my channel, subscribed to my channel in the last, it's been almost 3 years in January. And I just really appreciate it and the support and the kind notes that I get from people and emails and comments on the channel. It means so much to me when I even just get a little thank you to know that it's helping you, even if it was just one video that helped you, improve in your race or have a better experience. That's really what I want to be able to do for you. So last week, hit 10,000 subscribers. And yeah, I know it takes a lot sometimes to subscribe to a YouTube channel. That you probably have to feel that it was helpful enough to do that. So that's super meaningful. Each one of those is a real person, and that's you guys watching, and I just appreciate it so much. And this week hit 1 million views on the channel, which is just surreal to me. That's such a big number, and I just want to say thank you. It really means so much to me. The first year on YouTube was very hard. I wanted to quit a lot of times. You feel like you're putting out videos to absolutely no one or maybe 5 people. And you keep doing that week after week, just crossing your fingers that it's all going to work out. So I just want to give that message to each of you. If you're embarking on something hard or challenging, it feels like it's not working. Same goes for things like with running, like keep showing up, be consistent, and the goals that you want to achieve will come. So I'm glad I stuck it out. And yeah, so here we are. So let's go ahead and talk about Chicago. I will. Oh, Meta Drew, thank you. That's so nice. I appreciate the kind comments. So let's talk about the Chicago weekend, the Shakeout run, just because it's open to everyone who could be there, all levels. It's really just to have a meetup and have fun. So I will put details after this in the description so you can look back on that. But I also have a post on Instagram. There's also a post in the community tab with all these details as well. But we are meeting 8:30 a.m. this Saturday it's in Millennium Park at the Crown Fountain. So I'll probably get my bearings a little bit when I'm there on Friday. So if I have any more specifics, I will put that out, but that's the plan. I will be there probably starting about 8:15 a.m. So if you want to come a little early and chat, we probably won't end up starting the run until closer to 8:45, just so that we can say our hellos. And yeah, if you have questions or anything, happy to answer those. And yeah, just have a nice morning. And I have 5 athletes running Chicago, and both are my coach Tiffany, who's on the team. She's also running. Coach Remy, he's not running, but he's going to be there. Tiffany, I know, is not going to be at the Shakeout. Remy might, I'm not sure, but yeah, there's definitely going to be people on the team who are going to be there. But I want it to, yeah, you guys are part of the RSM team, running with Jane, like as far as being viewers of this channel. So would love to see any of you guys there. Seems that anyone has questions about that. Oh, Yolanda, your first marathon January, run Disney. Awesome. I'm going to be at Disney this January too. So that'll be my next one after this. So yeah, that's basically the weekend for me personally. I'm getting there on Friday. We're basically going to drop our kids off at school tomorrow and then fly. I think we get there around 3, check into our hotel. We're going to go straight to the expo. I just want to get that checked off. I've heard that it's a pretty long process, which makes sense with how many people are there. And I am a newbie to Chicago. So the information that I know is simply just what I found online. So I'm not going to talk a lot about any logistical tips or anything like that, just because I don't feel like I'm totally in the know other than what I've listened to. But I will at least put a couple links to things that I've listened to or watched that I felt were really helpful. There's a video from Kofuzi. I mean, he's run it, I think, like 4 times. He lives there. There's a really good podcast I listened to, Ali on the Run. I'm sure anyone else running Chicago has found some good resources as well. You guys can put those in the comments if you want later too. And yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about the training that I've had leading up to this, and kind of I'll back up to Boston. So I ran the Boston Marathon in April, and I got a coach, a one-on-one coach, for the very first time last year. And I hired her because I had felt like I sort of reached this point in my training of coaching myself that I just needed a little bit more that I wasn't able to give myself. I'd already got myself to qualifying to Boston on my own, which is a huge goal. And then I wanted to break 3:30. And I just felt like there was a little bit missing in my speed work, or yeah, really just when you're training on your own, it's a little bit easier to call it on something like a speed session or make it a little bit easier. I felt like that's where I needed some help. So yeah, started working with her with the goal to break 3:30 in the marathon. I was at 3:33 something at the time. So it wasn't like I was that far away, but ran Houston. It was a warm race, did not get that. And then Boston was never intended to be like the race where I would break 3:30. So I think just kind of having low pressure during that time really helped me. I think stacking Houston right on top of then Boston training was also a huge help. We were really smart in between. I still took a full week off after Houston to make sure that I was recovered, which is what I do as a coach too. Have runners take a full week off, no running, because there's a lot of micro trauma that's happening. It's very hard on your body to fully race a marathon. And then we got right back to it. And I didn't love training for Boston right away. I was not really ready and feeling it. And later on, I just got excited about it. I just said, this is low pressure. Like, I want to be brave out there and do my best. But I wasn't expecting to break 3:30, and I did. I got a 3:29, and that was kind of the big goal. So now moving into Chicago training, it's been, I feel like, that kind of low pressure environment again, because I already got the big goal that I wanted. Yes, I want to push that more this weekend. I'll talk about that in a minute with my goals, but it really, I just feel super grateful with where I'm at and having already gotten the big goal. There's way less pressure than there would be on myself had I did, not gotten 3:30 at Boston. It would be like, this is it. Like, I got to do it right here, right now. So that's been nice to just feel like, yeah, just trusting the process, do the training, work really hard in training. I haven't changed any of that. And yeah, hopefully that a little bit more relaxed feeling will help me going into this. So, as far as just kind of training details, this past year, so basically September to September, it's moved on to October now, but you guys can see. So this is my training. So 2111 miles, that's the past year, but it's counting all of October. So obviously there's a lot of empty days in October, if that makes sense. So I think it was at the last day of September, it was close to 2250, something like that. Maybe 2300, which is the most miles I've ever run. I've run over, I think, 2100 or close to that. Um, yeah, just the year as a whole, it's been a really good year of training. And I haven't missed a run this entire training cycle. I don't think I missed a run actually in all of 2023, which I feel really grateful for. Not navigating any injuries or illnesses. Hopefully, my COVID bout was out of the way from November of last year. And I run 6 days a week, every single week. Wednesday is always my rest day. So nothing's looked any different this entire time, except for this week was a little bit different. And long runs are always on Mondays. And I did hit my biggest week ever in this training block at 68 point something. And at the time, it's kind of like, oh man, I should have gone to 70, but I don't get very hung up on, 1 mile here and there, and recommend you don't get hung up on those types of little tiny things. It's nice to see those big round numbers, but at the end of the day, I know it's important, and just stacking the mileage as a whole week after week, it didn't make sense for me I was already probably pushing a little bit anyway. Um, I didn't reach my highest month. My highest month ever happened before Boston, which was in March, but this training as a whole started sooner. Back to back, August and September were both really, really big months. I don't know what they were. August was 243, was 235. So, and then I ran a couple, as many, I think, as I did for Boston. We kind of kept those. And yeah, all of you know that navigating marathon is a lot. Family, jobs, like those come first, and trying to get in the running is, yeah, sometimes it's a puzzle. And I just go in every day with the attitude of, this is not negotiable, whether I want to do it or not. It has to get done. Where is that going to occur? I'm actually not the type of person that's always up at 5 a.m. doing the run first thing in the morning. It isn't always that way, but I do know very much ahead of time what my schedule is going to look like for that day and where it's going to fit in. And I don't run in the evenings ever. So I just make sure it gets done before usually like 2 o'clock or something like that. So yeah, that is the training. I feel like overall it's gone really, really well. I did have one long run that was pretty bad. I had some stomach issues, which I never have. And hopefully I don't have anything like that going to this weekend. But I haven't trained through the summer for like a early fall race and fully trained through the summer since 2019. All of my marathons have been like in June or December, April, January, things like that, where I wasn't having to do that. And it was definitely a reality check. All of you guys who've trained for halves and fulls through the summer, it's a lot. Those long runs are very hard to figure out. Fueling wise, hydration, sodium. Worked with a lot of athletes to try to nail those things down, and that's kind of what happened to me. I think that particular run, just warm, and yeah, kind of throws a wrench into things. But other than that, overall, it's gone well. I don't ever want to sugarcoat it, act like it's easy. It's not. It's hard. There's days you don't want to do it, and But overall, I think I do enjoy the process. It's just very ingrained in what I do, the running each day. And yeah, even on Wednesdays, my rest days, like I love the rest day. I always look forward to the rest day. And then I always just feel kind of blah on the rest day. I think just, I don't know if that's mental or what, but yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any kind of questions about training or anything. I'll answer those at the end. You guys can place them here now, but I'll probably pop through them there. Yeah, you guys have some good questions. So hopefully I can get to those at the end. All right. So yeah, positive, feeling positive about the training. Taper has been good. And this week I got to run a race for fun on Sunday as my last long run, a 15K. I was with a couple of friends. It was just a great way to kind of feel like I was capping off the training block. And so that adjusted my week differently than what it's looked like in the past. But I am a person who loves the taper. I think because I've done this long enough, I very much trust its purpose and that you do need to get to this absolute maximum feeling in your training at the peak weeks where you're so over it, you're so tired. Those are good things. And the taper works to, make sure that you're recovering and that you're your fittest self on race day. And I know it works. And so I don't get too worried at all about like doing less mileage or anything like that. I'm going to take an extra rest day this week, which I always do. I took one on Tuesday, which is different this week. And then I'm not running tomorrow. On the travel day, just there's a lot going on. Expo, I'm not running tomorrow. And then I'll run on Saturday. So yeah, basically my last run was this morning and then the shakeout run just for fun, really, just to get moving a little bit. As far as my goals for the race and strategy, I talked to my coach on Thursday and I hadn't like really thought about things too much at that point. But I feel pretty strongly that without the hills and everything at Boston, I would have been, probably like a minute and a half faster flat, which would put me at like 3:27 and a half. I think I can do that. Obviously, there's a lot of factors and you don't know what you're going to get sometimes, but I just maybe push it a little bit more earlier on than I would normally. I've learned at this point how to manage a marathon, how to make sure to feel strong at the end. And I think part of that, there's a little bit of fear that I don't want to, blow up ever again at the end of a marathon. It isn't fun. It's a lot more fun to be able to get to run faster at the end. But I think that there needs to be a little bit more push earlier for me before the half. I think I could get more out of myself. Otherwise, I'm having to make myself go quite a bit faster than marathon pace at the end. And, you know, if the more you're getting to tempo pace, you can only hold on to that for so long, right? So if I can kind of tighten the pace more, where I'm starting a little bit faster this time than I did in Boston, so that I'm coming through the halfway point without having to make up so much time is ideal. So I would love to just run more even if it was a very negative split, or even if it ended up being a little bit of a positive split, at least I'll know that I gave it everything I had and that was the absolute best time that I could get. Not that I question that in any of my other races, but just that maybe if I'm not having to push the pace down to the like low 740s as long at the end. I think my last mile in Boston was a 7:15. So I don't need to have to go down that far, I guess is what I'm saying. If it could be a little bit tighter, that would be better. So if I can come in the half about 144, I would be really happy with that. Kind of in my head, like I would love to get a sub 327. I feel pretty confident that I can do that. And maybe it's a little bit more. And my coach gave me a B goal of 328, which is actually what we talked about on the call. And then when she sent over my race strategy, there's a 324 on here also, which that's a 748. per mile. And I don't know. She didn't mention that on the call. I am not as I recall. So I don't know that I would say in my head that that's my A goal. I would say that my A goal is anything below 327. I would be absolutely thrilled, which doesn't mean that I'm not going to push myself to faster if I'm ready for that. And yeah, I just want to feel like I went out there and was brave and enjoy it. I know it's supposed to be just an amazing race and great spectators. Flat course. It's going to be perfect weather this weekend. My husband said to me last night, I think if you could just create your perfect weather for a marathon race day, this is what you would make it be. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. It's supposed to be like mid 40s, I want to say, as the low, and then mid 50s, like in the middle of the day. Cloudy, no rains, very light wind. Yeah, I mean, you really can't ask for better. And yeah, just thinking about everybody who was supposed to run Twin Cities last week, it's just crazy, like what can happen in 1 week's time. Because it's the same here in Colorado right now. It was like 80s this past weekend, and it's going to be like 50s, 60s this weekend. So we definitely lucked out with the weather. So that is the time that I'm going for. I don't typically recommend running with pace groups unless you have a very good idea about what they're going to be doing or what their strategy is. This podcast that I listened to with Allie on the Run, they discussed how the pacers are heavily vetted for the Chicago Marathon. Like they have to give a resume, they have to show what their times were, their split times were for other races that they've paced. So I feel pretty good about going with a pacer in this particular race. And the one big reason that I think I might start with a pacer this time around is because the GPS doesn't really work in Chicago, they say. So they all say when you're kind of like in between buildings in those first 3 miles. And so I don't trust myself enough, I guess, to as much as I've run marathon pace, I should be able to feel it, but I'm very much a type of person that takes a while to get warmed up. I'm very used to negative splitting, like even easy long runs. Yeah, it's just what I'm used to. And so I'm actually more worried about going out too slow, whereas I think most people should be worried about going out too fast because that's generally what people do. So I think this will just kind of ease my mind a little bit. Even if I'm not like right with the 330 pacer to start, at least having them kind of in my eyesight and keeping them there so I know where I'm at and I don't have to be really questioning things. Because if I look at my watch, it's not going to be correct. And then obviously, once I come through the first mile marker, I'll probably lap my watch. I'll at least be looking to see, what the time is when I'm coming through. And then maybe adjust from there with staying with them. But yeah, I think if my goal is, 327 and I'm with the 330 pacer early on, that's still a conservative start, even if they're doing even pacing. Kind of right around an 8-minute mile. I feel comfortable starting at that and staying at that for a really long time and just doing check-ins along the way, which is what I always recommend that people do. Where are you at the 10K? How are you feeling? How long do you think you can hold the space? Are you ready to push it a little bit? Okay, we're at the half. You should be feeling great when you go through the half. You should still be feeling really good. If you feel like the race is hard already at the half, that's time to make an adjustment. And just I want to make sure I'm being smart about making those decisions, but also letting myself push myself a little bit more than I have in the past. I said this for Boston too, and I think I did a better job at Boston than I did at Houston. I still think there's room for improvement. I don't have to manage the hills this time at Boston, which there's a little bit of that, okay, I got to hold back because all the hills are coming. I got to get through the hills first before I do anything big. And I don't have to do that here. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Fueling wise, this is what I'm doing. Not really much different than what I've done in the past. So I am going to be taking, sorry, I didn't show that very long tailwind. And I usually do 3 scoops in an 8-ounce flask, which I just put in my shorts. There it is. I wear compression shorts that have pockets on the sides. These bottles fit in there. So I usually put 3 scoops of Tailwind in here, which is really heavily concentrated. And I just like to think of the Tailwind as complementary, supplement to the gels that I'm taking. It's just allowing me to take in that much more fuel and carbs. I want to make sure I'm front loading it all. So I will be probably finished with that within the first hour and a half to 2 hours. May switch it out with something that my husband has. That's something exciting about this race. And my husband's coming, but I'm going to get to see him multiple times. I've heard it's pretty easy to see spectators, your friends and family, like 3 to 4 times. Boston, it's like one time, that's it, or they're not going to be able to see you at the finish. So I can switch things out with him. I also don't want to like make that the for sure plan and not have extra and not have a backup plan just in case I don't end up seeing him at the, planned point for whatever reason. I mean, something could go wrong with that. So I think for the most part, I'll just have my fuel on myself. Yeah, but it's a lot of gels, which I'm storing like in my sports bra, in my shorts, in my flask. I'm going to take this handheld, which will have just plain water because I like to have plain water too. This one can hold like 2 gels in the pockets. I will be taking this Precision Fuel, which tastes a lot like Morton's if you've ever had that. I ordered all of this from the feed, which is where I usually get my fuel from. I'm going to take this one like 15 minutes before the race. And then the rest of it is sort of alternating between gels like this. Okay, so I'm going to have one every 30 minutes. So that'll be 6. Maybe I'll take a 7th extra just in case, but I don't know. I think 6 will be good with the one that I have 15 minutes before, plus the Tailwind, plus there's, gels along the course if I ever felt like I needed to grab an extra one. I accidentally only took 5 in Boston. I like dropped one or forgot to pack one. I'm not sure, but I only had 5. I went to grab like one and it wasn't there. Or I think I went to grab one and realized I only had one left. And it worked out. It worked out fine. So if I can bump it up with one more gel this time, it'll just be that much more fuel. So that's my plan for the race. Overall, just feel really grateful to get to be there. I'm more than anything just excited to be there and get to meet some of my one-on-one athletes in person, who as an obviously online running coach, I don't typically get to do that, and then meet some of you at the Shakeout run and see you out there. So if you see me, say hi. Even if you can't come to the Shakeout run, say hi. I would love to meet you. And it's just going to be a really fun weekend. So I will take some of your questions. If I missed anything that you were curious about, I will. Let's see. I'll scroll back a little bit here. Yeah, and if you're just joining, I did talk about the Shakeout run that I'm hosting, so I will put that info below. Okay, so someone asked about training in hot and humid weather and how are you going to manage in cold weather? This Yolanda wrote very cold weather. So I'm not really sure like how cold you mean, but overall, like uh there's a lot of science behind it, which I would probably say something wrong, but like building um blood plasma volume, all these different adaptations are taking place in your body when you're running in heat. Also, like if you're running at altitude, there's adaptations that have to take place. So, if you are, for example, running at altitude in the heat, and then you go somewhere where it's much, much cooler and it's at sea level, which is essentially what I'm getting to do because I live just outside of Denver, Colorado. Those are all good things. Like, that's going to just make the race even better for you because you've adapted for tougher conditions essentially. So if the conditions are easier, it's going to go that much better. So all of us who've had all summer training in this gross, hot, humid weather, it's going to serve you well for your fall marathon that will hopefully be much cooler. Now, for me, this weekend, or any of us running Chicago, like 55, that's a great place to be. Pretty much perfect running weather. I wouldn't call that cold at all. On the cool side, right? And for spectators, probably, but for running, it's perfect. If you're going to something really, really cold, that's different. You're going to have to be a much more mindful, maybe, of layers and what you're wearing, but you'll probably heat up more than you think that you will. I also recommend to people if it is going to be really cold at the start, you want to make sure that you're going to be and you're sitting there for a while, like you have throwaway layers, which I will this weekend, like sweatpants, sweatshirt, things like that. Um, and even if it's cool at the start, having ear warmers and gloves will help you a lot because a lot of times the rest of your body will be fine, but your hands will be really cold. So that's a really great option for just starting the race. In fact, I'm sitting here talking about this now. Like, I don't know if I have any throwaway gloves. I should probably get some just in case. But I think weather-wise it will be fine. I'll probably be just more cold from being nervous and stuff. So I have some athletes on here. Oh yeah, Chicago weather. Oh, Sarah joined a little later. It's gonna be perfect. So 55 is the high. No rain. No rain. Maybe it's supposed to be on the light side. Time for Jane to PR. Yes, Oliver, I would love that. Yeah, I mean, I'll just be totally honest. Like, I'm 43 years old. I've been running for a really long time. So I'm sort of at that point where I just keep going and keep working hard to see what I can create out there. And the reality is that there is an age where you're not going to keep getting faster. And let's not be negative or anything. It's just a reality. Goals can change. It doesn't always have to be about PRs, but for me, I definitely feel like I'm at the best training I could be at right now. And what I put in this last year, I know that I know that I'm in a position to do that my fitness is there. So hopefully it all comes together on the day. Just give the best on the day, which is all you can do. Um, Yeah, you guys should watch the marathon. Someone talked about watching the marathon. It's definitely like a huge elite field too, which is super fun to watch. That's always the hard thing about running these big marathons is you don't get the opportunity to see all of the elites and everything. So, okay. Ronnie asked about, do you recommend carrying your own water containers or vests so that you're light in the race? So I actually wore not a vest, more like a pack, I guess you could call it, in my first. Okay, well, not my marathons way back when. I don't even remember those. Those did not go well anyways. But like my first couple marathons back, like 2017, 2018, I did bring my water with me. And then after those years, I quit um wearing a pack. I usually recommend to people, especially at their first one, if they've trained with it and that's what they feel very comfortable with, to just wear it. It's kind of nice to have as that security blanket. You don't have to worry about what's on the course because there's already a lot of stress involved sometimes with running a first marathon and everything. And I've had athletes wear them and they're just happy to have it on them. But I agree from like a lightness perspective, it's cumbersome. I actually, for the first time, which is kind of crazy considering the warmth this summer, but this is the first time I didn't even train wearing a vest because I just don't like it. So I have the handheld, I have the water bottles in my pockets, and I will just make sure that I loop back to my car and get more, or I'm going to pass by a water fountain or something like that. Um, so as long as you're confident about stopping on the course and having enough, then I think it's fine to not wear your vest. It can be hard to figure out where the heck you're going to put all of these gels and everything. So number one, like, I want you to be able to fuel well and hydrate well. And sometimes having a pack can mean the difference of that, especially on a really warm day. But the reality is some of these big races, you don't even get to carry those. I think they allow hip packs. Don't quote me on this, but they don't allow vests, and that's basically for security purposes. And so some people have to, kind of figure that out along the way if that's their race. So definitely look into that. If it's usually just the bigger ones like Chicago, New York, that have that rule. Oh, and someone said something about a handheld. I've had a lot of people I don't like carrying anything in my hand. I get that. I was like that for a long time, but I'm used to this now. This has a strap on it that you can tighten, so it's kind of like you can carry it like this versus feeling like you have to just hold it tight the whole time. What I also did in Boston is I have one of these. It was before I had this, a 12-ounce one of these, and I had like a headband, and I took it around my wrist. I learned this from Sally McRae, just an ultra runner, like from a just Instagram reel, and you wrap it around your hand, and it like holds it against your hand. So even if you don't have one like this, if you have one of the cheaper ones, it's a really good way to do that. So I'm gonna have the headband around my wrist anyway because it's really good for like wiping sweat, which was sort of an accidental thing that I found out. So yeah, I like having the handheld too. Some good recommendations about it's like staying warm and plastic tunic and pants. I don't know, maybe there's a question about staying warm, maybe staying dry. Um, yeah. So, someone asked what shoes I decided to run in. Good question. I did not actually talk about that yet. So, I have the Nike Alpha Fly twos, right? You guys, I'm not like a big shoe person, but so I don't keep up with all like the specifics of things, but I've been really lucky because we have a Nike clearance store near where I live, different than the outlets, but a Nike clearance store. And for the longest time, they had Vaporfly 2s and Alphafly 1s for $100, and which is such a steal. Well, last time I went back there, they didn't have the Alpha Fly ones, which is the shoe that I really love in my size. They have Vaporflies, but I didn't, that's not really what I wanted. So I didn't get them. So I was searching online to see if I could get a good deal on the Alpha Fly ones. So I don't feel confident in my other pair. I'm not good about tracking mileage. And they wear out, the tread on those wears out so quickly. I don't really think they're probably ready to do a marathon. Who knows? But I looked, as I was searching for that, I found a really good deal on Alpha Fly 2s, which that's like the current shoe. And I was like, okay, I'll get these because I just don't love paying full price for those, especially since I haven't had to for the carbon plated shoes. I mean, they're extremely expensive, as you all know. So I ordered those, and that's what I'm wearing. I don't think that I like them as much as the Alpha Fly ones, but they're what I have. They're going to be great. I'm not going to stress about that. They're very cute. They're like hot pink. And yeah, so that's what I'm wearing for shoes. And someone said, mind blown about lapping each mile in my watch. No, I'm not going to lap each mile. I'm going to manually lap early on, maybe mile. I might or might not. I don't know. It might, because it might even out, but it's more just I do it so that I don't go crazy thinking about, where I'm at in these things. I have experience manually lapping my watch in a marathon anyway, because like in Boston, your GPS is a little bit off from, the actual, or you're weaving. And so you add a little bit, you run off to the water table. So you add a little bit. So over time, your watch is like beeping long before you actually get to the mile marker. And so it's just irritating the farther and farther back you get. So at some point in a marathon, I'll decide like, okay, I'm going to lap my watch when I get to the mile marker, and then we'll kind of be back on track with everything. So no, I'm not planning to lap for every single mile. That would definitely make me go a little bit crazy. But once I lap it, it starts, the next mile then starts again. So it'll auto lap for the next mile anyways. Someone asked who my favorite running celebrity is. So my absolute favorite running celebrity is Tommy Rivers. And if there's a, he had cancer. There a big story. I think a lot of more people know who he is now, but he was my running celebrity from years ago when I started running on iFit on my treadmill. He's an iFit trainer, so full of knowledge, so down to earth, just an incredible person and a lot of fight, which you'll know if you know his story even more so. That's true now. I ran right past him, I guess, in Boston Marathon in 2022. Like my friend told me, you had to have passed him. And he was filming Boston Marathon 2022. So I watched that whole thing and I found myself like the other side of the road. Like, so I didn't go right by him, but he was on this side and I was on that side. Yep, sure enough, there I am, like run by. I totally missed like seeing him. So um yeah, I would say that's sort of my big one. And Sally McRae, I mentioned her. She's just freaking incredible. Running 200-mile races, just the stuff that she has to will herself through. I don't know how those athletes do it. I don't envision that ever being me running like 100-mile races. I want to run an ultra at some point, but yeah, she's incredible. Someone asked if I've run Twin Cities. Yes, I ran Twin Cities in 2017. So that was like my comeback marathon. I had run in '05 and '07 when I was really young. My husband and I decided to do like a bucket list marathon together, and it was Twin Cities, and it was amazing. The weather was great, and I took over an hour off my that was sort of when I had this idea in my head, like, oh, maybe I could qualify for Boston. And oh, wow, when you train correctly, you can actually have a really good experience in a marathon. Imagine that. And yes, I did hear about it getting canceled. I had a runner who was supposed to run it, and it's, yeah, really, really huge, huge, huge bummer. And I think my opinion is it was the right call, just knowing what I know about what runners can try to push themselves through when like don't make good decisions in those moments a lot of the times. Especially people running the first one, like they don't know what's normal and what's not necessarily. I think that the decision maybe needed to have been made a day or two before. All those people had to travel out there and everything. But yeah, there's a lot of ins and outs to managing those races. I know that they're getting a lot of flack for canceling it and everything, but they want the race to go on just as much as everyone else. They don't want to have eyes on them that they canceled the race. So if they had to cancel the race, it's because they thought it was the right thing to do. So it's really sad. I would be super, super bummed if I was someone in that situation too. Do I get nerves the night before a race? Yeah. So it's kind of funny because, like, even right before this YouTube live, because I hardly ever do these, I get those same types of nerves that you get like before an interview, right? Where you yeah, it's kind of the same nerves you get before a race, right? And just trying to calm yourself down. And then once you get started, it's fine. That's very much how I am with racing too. Usually the night before I'm fine. I don't usually sleep that well. Before Boston, I slept fine. And I really think that kind of goes back to I didn't put a lot of pressure on myself for Boston. I was just excited to be there. And I think that was a big part of it. I will say every time, so if you have this is really normal. Even if you love running, even if you love marathons, I wake up and I am like, why the hell did I decide to sign up for this? I could just sleep in this hotel, I'm away from my kids. And then once I get up and get ready, like I'm really excited and remind myself why I do these things, that the challenge is, that's what I'm there for, and just to feel something. And I don't know, just add more experiences to your life that if there's nothing that really compares to, and until you've done it or experienced, it's hard to explain, right? And all of you, that have done one before, you know what I'm talking about. I cry at the end of every marathon. It's just always super emotional for me. It takes an incredibly amount of hard work to just get to the starting line in the first place. And it's sort of a journey from start to finish. You never know what's going to happen, what you're going to get. And you find out a lot about yourself in those moments. So I like that. I like having that challenge. So it's just a matter of reminding myself of that. Yeah, that I can do hard things and I want to do hard things. So, um, made the six majors medal. No, so I've only run one major, Boston twice. So this will be number two. I don't know that running all six majors is in my goal plan. I don't feel that strongly about it. Um, I would love to run Berlin. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'll probably put my name in the hat this time around for next year. I definitely want to run New York. So my next plans are Disney, the Dopey Challenge I'm doing in January. So I'll have run 4 marathons within a year, which is a lot. It's been a lot. But that one is not for any sort of goal time. That one's for fun. I'm running with two of my friends who I run with all the time. And so that is a 5K one day, then a 10K the next day, half marathon the next day, and a marathon the next day. And the training is going to look a little bit different for that coming up. I know I need to back off a little bit to just keep the joy in the process for me. Maybe that means 6 days a week of running. Maybe it means five. I'm just going to be not working with a coach. I'm working on my own because, just a very different mindset and moving to something different there. Uh, just running for fun a little bit more. And I think there's a place for both in our running journey. I've had a lot of years of going after big goals, and it's time to take a step back from that. I'm loving helping my athletes with their goals, putting, my heart and soul into that is a big deal to me as well. And then after that, I don't have a planned race. I told myself that I wouldn't do that to myself this time, where I have like already registered for something that's soon after anything, just to give myself a break. But my plan is to run New York City for a charity. Everything works out. That's the plan. So that's what I want to do for my big thing I want to do for 2024. Henry can confirm he's not doing the Dopey challenge. All right. I mean, yeah, the fact that like we were on a run and my friend loves Disney. She's like, let's do a Dopey challenge. And we're like, yeah, let's do that. That would be so much fun. But I don't know. We run every day, most days anyway. So, and especially if we're not like going for time and racing, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's going to be hard. But um, yeah, like we ran a 15K together on Saturday and we were like, well, okay, this takes care of 2 of our days of Disney. And then all we have to do is run a half marathon and marathon. We can do it. Right. And it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. Pictures with characters. That's definitely what my friend Heather wants to do. So we are just going to go and enjoy the day. Yeah. I should do daily live or at least once a week. I know that I need to do more lives, and they're nice for me be too, because from a work standpoint, work smarter, not harder, because editing for me takes a lot of time. Video editing and just video in general does not come naturally to me. Um, and that's time consuming, and like putting in b-roll because like that's what to keep people watching and everything, like having different things on the screen, like that's kind of what you're supposed to do. That's best practice, right? The nice thing about lives is we come on here, it's recorded, and then it's on YouTube, and I don't have to do anything else after the fact. And plus it's just super nice to engage with all of you. So I think me backing off a little bit too on my own big training goals, because it's a lot of time commitment to add in the strength training, all of that will allow me to, yeah, put a little bit more energy to into the YouTube channel, which I want to be able to do. Um, Yeah, someone asked if I have an international major on the bucket list. I don't know if this came before or after I said the question, but or answered the question, but yeah, I mean Berlin and London, like they would be awesome. I mean Tokyo, they would be all be awesome. I don't know, but I also am a mom of 3 kids and have a husband and I have work and it's not yeah, it's not always easy to just do an international vacation and everything too. So there's always those logistical and monetary considerations too. I think it's more about reminding myself this doesn't all have to happen like in the next couple years. I'm going to be running for a long time. I'm in this for the long game. So there will be lots of opportunities. So um Josh, I did get your intake form yesterday. Actually, I was going to comment back on your YouTube comment too. So, yeah, well, I think we'll kind of wrap it up with that. Um, I do, yep, just want to mention that we have different, coaching options, customized training plan options available from the team. I have 2 other coaches that I've brought on this year, which has been really exciting. Just expanding we call ourselves the Ready Set Marathon team because it comes from my blog, which is different than running with Jane, but the Ready Set Marathon team. And I know it seems far away, but if you have a desire for coaching for a spring marathon, this is pretty much the time to get on the wait list because we have one right at the moment. Yeah, I mean, you can pretty much get on the wait list at any time. So even if you're looking ahead and that's something that you want to do, like don't hesitate to reach out. And if you're not sure, you can email me and ask me. We have like an intake form online, but um, you can email me too. So I just want to say thanks again for the support of the channel. I love being here. I love being able to provide guidance and advice via kind of a longer form platform versus Instagram. I kind of use for fun, my own training type of thing, but I don't, spend a lot of time there giving the informational content. I think this is the perfect platform for that. And so I will continue to bring that content. You guys can always let me know if there's something in particular that you feel like is missing that I can do a video on. And best of luck to everybody running Chicago this weekend. Come say hi, and best of luck to all of you in whatever you have going on for fall racing. We still have a lot of time, and yeah, welcome to fall running. It's going to be so much nicer than the summer running, in my opinion. And yeah, some other big races coming up in October, November, and CIM in December, which I know some people are running. Love that race. And yeah, thanks. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.